All dives and tricks are performed by trained professionals. Don't try this at home or somewhere else. This is the most unique inside view of the biggest cliff diving event in the world. Some time ago I got invited to Bosnia for the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series, the crazy bridge from which some divers showed amazing dives while others got badly hurt. But what was I doing there? Did I get to throw myself off the 27 meters along with the best high divers from all over the world? Like this video right now and watch until the end. I'll tell you everything about it.
Hey, what's up, Water crew? My name is Jim, and when I get bored, I throw myself off giant cliffs. I bet you all know what Red Bull cliff diving is, and that their competitions are always some sort of insanity. So, long story short, I once got invited to the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series in Bosnia. At first, I thought I was going to perform there as a high diver, but later on their organizers asked me to make a review on that crazy championship. And no jumps! I was so mad about that offer. Me, the European cliff diving champion, who dove off so many different spots all around the world, going to Bosnia just to film other cliff divers? No thanks. I promised myself to jump off that bridge no matter what it cost me. Watch until then to see if I was able to sneak in and make an illegal jump from the 27-meter tower. Heads up, it was not easy. The entry to the platform was under supervision, especially after one very unpleasant situation with a diver from Mexico, who smacked so badly. Ow! What happened to him? Now I'm going to show you everything. Ready? Let's fly!
Alright, here we are in Bosnia, Mostar. The city is situated on the Neretva river and is the fifth largest city in the country. Mostar was named after the bridge keepers, Mostari, who guarded the Starry Most, the old bridge, over the Neretva. I see that there are so many ruined buildings like this after the war, but the city is still very beautiful. It feels like a big village to me. The population here is about 100,000 people, but the main action is going to be on the old high bridge. Back in 1993, during the war, the bridge was ruined and stayed like that for some time, until UNESCO donated to rebuild the bridge. Scuba divers search for the broken pieces of the bridge at the bottom of the river, to lift them up and to use them for reconstruction. So the bridge is basically the same old one. I didn't lie when I told you guys that this is the most unique Red Bull event review, because today I'll even take you inside of the structure of the platform. By the way, do you think it's legal for a tourist to dive off this famous bridge? Soon I'll show you what happens with those who try to jump off it.
Вот на столечко рядом с птицей.
How was the bird?
The bird almost bit the dust.
So the Cliff Diving World Series is the most prestigious competition a high diver can participate in. Men dive off 27 meters, while women dive off 21 meters high. The competitions take 2 days, and the participants do 2 dives on the day first and 2 dives on the second day. Here only 8 divers will make it to the final round. I randomly noticed one of my old friends among the participants, Nikita Fedotov. His life story is crazy, because he quit the sport of Olympic diving at 16 and was sure that he would not compete ever again. But his destiny brought him to China, where he worked as a high diver at the water show. He started to dream of becoming a professional high diver since then. And today he is competing at the Red Bull Cliff Diving for the very first time. And actually, we used to compete together in Switzerland, where I beat him. And I'm really proud that I know him, and today I will be cheering for Nikita. By the way, he's on the 7th place after the first round. It will be very tough, only 8 can go into the final round. And he will have to compete against the best high divers in the world. For example, Michal Navratil from Czech Republic. He won this competition the last year. He is also famous for his brilliant Superman dive. And he is one of the 2 divers who remained from the sport's inaugural competition back in 2009. Moreover, he competed in 80 out of possible 84 events up to the end of 2021. With that experience, he probably has a good chance to win the Red Bull Cliff Diving Stop again. Also, Gary Hunt from Great Britain, who is definitely one of the best cliff divers in the world. Spoiler! Later on, this diver will switch his allegiance from Great Britain to France in hope to compete at the Olympics in Paris in 2024. He is also studying Russian language, can play piano, and is just a very nice person. And here is my friend Nikita in the second round. A cool spectacular dive, triple reverse flip. Ooh, the judging is pretty strict, I have to say. Well, tomorrow he has to really impress the judges if he wants to compete in the final round. Nevertheless, absolutely not bad for the first timer. While awaiting the second day of the competition, I set up the Wi-Fi in the room and found out that Lera was kinda bored, so I brought her to the local market to try the most famous coffee. We figured out that it's a special ritual here in Bosnia. Guys, comment below if I should switch to food blogging maybe. We also walked down the street to check out some gift shops. Everything looked authentic and is probably handmade. Highly recommend to check it out if you ever go to Mostar. Okay, now what happens to those tourists who want to jump off this bridge themselves? Local people organized a special diving club. Once you are in, you have to do a different diving spot and jump off 10 meters high. And believe me, it's better to do this before going to 20 meters, because I have seen some guys who went straightly to 20 meters. And that ended up so badly. If you do good there and feel like you wanna go higher, you can pay a fee and try yourself on the bridge. I was also told that local people even have two different diving competitions that happen here. The first kind is jumping feet first, which is okay, and the second kind is diving head first, which is so crazy because you can even break your hands or even neck. This tradition exists for 500 years. By the way, people were competing here even when the bridge was ruined after the war. Moreover, Red Bull doesn't allow diving head first due to safety reasons, while these guys even do cannonballs. As for me, it's total insanity. Alright, 5 more minutes until the start of the competition on day 2. By the way, Lera just checked the water temperature and said that her leg would get numb in a minute or so. That's how cold is it. Okay, let's see how this competition is going to go now. After this round, we will know who goes into the final round. Will my friend Nikita be able to do it? Let's see. The first to make it into the final is Steve Lebeau from the USA. The second finalist is last year's champion Michal Navratil from Czech Republic. The third person to compete in the next round is the great Gary Hunt from the UK. After him goes Chris Kalanos from Poland. The fifth place goes to stylish Jonathan Paredes from Mexico. The sixth place is for Alexander De Rosa from Italy. No Nikita's name so far. Sergio Guzman from Mexico is in 7th place. Okay, here is Nikita. He has to try very hard right now to make it to the finals. Only the 8 strongest divers will perform the last dive. Wow! After such an amazing dive, Nikita has a good chance of making it into the final round. And the 8th place goes to Nikita! Only a couple of points difference between him and the 9th place. So lucky!
Nikit, красава!
Before we watch the final round, I want to show you guys what it's like to be on the 27 meters platform. And hopefully I will jump off it myself, illegally of course. But there was one thing I really didn't expect. The great Greg Louganis made a special tour for Lera and I. If you like diving or Olympic sports of any kind, you must know who it is. He is a 4-time Olympic gold medalist for the USA, who is famous for hitting his head on the edge of the diving board and continuing to compete after the hit with 5 stitches on his head. He also won the Olympic Games that day, by the way. So inside of the platform is pretty predictable. A tiny stair, but once we got on the top of the 27 meters, well, that's just breathtaking. I dived off such a high many times, yet again I got so anxious just by looking down. Maybe because I'm not wearing my speedos now, and to be honest, I really wanted to break the rule and dive off that thing, but just could not do it in front of such an idol.
Greg Louganis, 4-time Olympic champion, and here we are standing in Mostar in the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. And Greg, by the way, he is now sports director for all these competitions.
The whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Louganis, he was the hero of my childhood. But when I asked Greg if I could jump off the bridge, at first he said no, but I had a feeling that he implied that when the competition is over and everybody is gone, I'm free to do whatever. Well, we'll see. And here is the most epic final round. Top 8 divers are going to perform here, and Nikita is going to go first, as he took 8th place in the previous round. Yep, the athletes here in the final round go one by one from the last place to the first, according to their previous scores. To be honest, Nikita's chances for the medal are really poor. His dive is 3 flips forward with 2.5 twists. Okay, mate, we need 9s here. Yeah, he definitely gets 9, and he gets very high scores.
Болели за тебя! Отстрелялся, красава, давай!
Nikita got 9.5 points out of 10. It's obvious that he is in the leading position now. Do you think he will make it on the podium? High diving is so unpredictable. But even with such scores, Nikita is not likely to make it to the top 3 today. Although others can make very bad mistakes in order for Nikita to get a medal. Let's see. Okay, now Sergio Guzman from Mexico, my old fellow. I honestly cheer for everyone now, as long as dives are clean and safe. Okay, go Sergio! What a terrible mistake! Oh my gosh! He didn't get out of the water! He is conscious! Of course, this kind of sport, he really took off not right and came out way too early, so he didn't have enough room. Is he okay? Of course, it's such a hit on his chin and his chest. He was going to land short, he realized it. When he opened up, tried to tuck up to make it better, but there was no room for that. Trust me guys, I never wanted anything like this to happen. But anyways, Nikita is still in the first place for now. Let's see what happens next. Here is Alessandro De Rosa. All I personally want to see now is fine, safe dives. Nothing else is needed. Okay, thanks to Alessandra, I feel some calmness. I can tell you guys that often after somebody smacks at the competition, the rest of the participants perform much worse than they could. A smack from 27 meters can cause serious injuries and even death. So no wonder why divers get nervous after somebody lands flat on the water from such a high. And Alessandra's dive was a bit splashy, and my friend Nikita is still on the top. But here is Jonathan Paredes with one of the hardest dives ever done. It's a unique dive where he does one flip, then flip one twist, and another flip with half twist. Don't ask me how they do it. The Mexican crowd is unhappy with the scores, but Jonathan was definitely really short on his entry, and Nikita is still in the first place. Can you imagine? Now it's Chris Kalanos. If I remember it right, he is going to do 4 flips with a half twist, which is considered a pretty easy dive. He has to show us some perfection in order to score well. And he does everything great, but Nikita's dive was still better and much harder. 102 points. Let's see if it's enough. And it's not enough! Chris cannot reach Nikita's scores. Nikita is still on the first place, but the next 3 high divers are probably the best in the world. So let's see what they got. Gary Hunt is famous for his triple backflip with 4 twists. Very high difficulty degree. Although he ripped the entry and the dive looked clean, you can see that he landed short, not typical for Gary. But that didn't stop him from getting on the leading place, and Nikita moved to the second place. Only 2 participants left. Let's look at Michal Navratil from the Czech Republic. And he makes a very noticeable mistake. He took off way too slow. Yeah, 5 points. Michal is getting very low scores and misses out of top 3 places. It means that Nikita is going to be on the podium today, but we still don't know the place. Here is Steven Labou from the United States. The dive looked great, but he also landed short, and judges took off a couple of points just for that. Wow, his scores range from 5 points to 8.5. It's a huge difference. He was very short, scored 108 points for that, and it's not clear what place he is on. He gets the second place. The first place goes to Gary Hunt, and Nikita ends up with fantastically well-deserved third place. I cannot believe it. Nikita!
Well, thank you!
But in just a second I'll show you what happened to Sergio from Mexico after that smack. But before that, I'd like to tell you about my illegal jump. Make a bet and press like right now if you think that I'll be able to throw myself off that scary old bridge. So I came there when there was no security team. And luckily, when I made it to the diving spot at the bridge, I was even recorded by the Red Bull operator, and he shared the footage. What do you think? Should I come to Red Bull next time? Now to Sergio, who got extremely unlucky at this meet. After my Mexican fellow landed so poorly, the lifeguards had to take him out of the water. He was unconscious for a bit, so he was taken to the hospital. Poor guy smacked his face and his stomach on ice-cold water from the 27 meters. Can you even imagine his pain at the moment? Yeah, he did a very bad mistake at the beginning of the dive, and moreover, he kicked out way too early. I just feel so sorry for him. Good thing he only spent one night at the hospital and went home in the morning. His recovery went pretty smoothly. Could be much worse though.
Well, what a crew! Before this trip, I was sure that Red Bull cliff diving is my dream. But after what I've seen today, what do you think? Should I push myself hard and dive at this competition someday? Write your thoughts below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video and watch some others, and please don't do crazy stuff. We will do it instead of you. Take care, bye!